Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass, live and in living color here with you only on Grande's Graveyard. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, tonight it is back. Tonight it is the Monster Mash Graveyard Smash. This is number 2 of a hopefully long-running series where we take monster movies from the 1950s. What? The 60s. What? The 70s. What? The 80s. What? The 90s. What? And the 2000s. Yes, because tonight on Grande's Graveyard, we dive back into the wonderful world of monster movies from each decade of course, of the ones that I just listed off. And I'm very excited to have you in the house. Of course, if you know the first Monster Mash special, you know that means one thing and one thing only. Tonight on Grande's Graveyard, we bring it back. Hit Pat Sajak. Hit fucking Vanna White. It is the Wheel of Torture. Yes, you don't have to buy any vowels. You just have to buy some awesome kaiju monster movies tonight only on the Graveyard. Very excited to have you all in the house here tonight and talking all things monster movies, of course. Like I said, we have 6 wonderful monster movies from 6 different decades and absolutely zero regrets tonight here on Grande's Graveyard. Before I get into the whole main topic of the show, of course, I'll get to your comments and stuff like that, but I also had a really cool weekend in New Jersey that I definitely wanted to discuss and share a little bit. So there's going to be a little bit of a different opening, not just my general jump right into it. I wanted to discuss a little bit of the meet and greet I had on this past Friday, because it meant a lot to me, and I figured it would be something nice to share for you guys here tonight live on Grande's Graveyard. But, of course, first and foremost, my wonderful guest. We have Miss C in the chat. Miss C, welcome. Ciao, Grande and Graveyardian friends. Welcome. Monster Mash Party only. It's fun to whisper it sometimes. James Van Dussen, JV himself is here. Good evening, everyone. Throwing up the fire emotes. What's going on, JV? Hope all is well with you. We got John in the house. Haddonfield mascot. What's up, Grande and chat? Excited for this one. I love cat people. Well, you know what? Will the real John please stand up? Because this is the second John in the show that's going to tell you right here, right now, that I love the fucking cat people too. Whether it's the 1940s, whether it's the 1980s, cat people are my type of people. I'm just about to tell you right here and now, I love that movie too, and I'm very excited to discuss it here tonight. We have, oh man, it's been a while since this guy's been in the live chat. I know he's been catching the replays. I know he's back from vacay. Welcome and ciao, Matteo Appendino. Back on this side of the Atlantic. Let's get some monsters going. Missed all you Graveyardies. We all missed you too, Matteo. I hope you had a wonderful vacation. And hey, I know we don't get too into sports on these things, but how about them Blue Jays? These skanky fans are going absolutely bonkers here, and I live for every single solitary second of it, my friend. I hope Toronto takes the East and the Skankies are left crying on the freaking cellar door, but we don't know how that's all going to play out. But I'm pulling for you. Trust me. I want Mets Jays in the series, and maybe I'll fly my ass up to Toronto and we'll spend a dumb amount of money on a World Series ticket. I watched the Godzilla movie on Tubi this afternoon. It was fire. Oh, I think I know which Godzilla movie you're referring to. Of course, I'm rocking the Godzilla and King Ghidorah. I'm sorry, Godzilla and Smog Monster shirt. Hedorah, if you will, not King Ghidorah. Hedorah, King Ghidorah. You know, these things can get mixed up. But, of course, GMK will be one of the movies we'll be discussing here tonight. So I'm very happy that you liked that. We got Ghostface Brett in the house. Ghostface Brett, hey, man, I hope you're feeling better. Cheers to you, buddy. I hope you're feeling better. I know you said you were a little under the weather today. Scratch Burno is in the house. Ayo, Scratch Burno. What's going on, buddy? Hope all is well with you. We got Ryan, the Hitman Hanley, in the house. I'm glad that meet and greet went well, Grande. Too cool. Yeah, no, it really was. It really was. I was very happy with it. And I definitely wanted to just tell the story before I got into I hope you guys don't mind. I know I don't usually go into, whatever, but I definitely wanted to share the whole story of that because it was awesome. What is up, Graveyard fam? I'm ready to mash it up with the creature features. Merns, well, you come to the right place, my friend. Mernsy's Movie Match is in the house. What's going on, Merns? I'll be checking out Weapons tomorrow. Hope it doesn't disappoint. That guy, again, the trailer looks great. It looks like a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but that guy, Zach Krieger, I don't know. I just don't really like him as a guy. I don't know if he's a bad person, but the way he looks at the genre is definitely different from me, and not necessarily a bad thing. Hey, it may bring him a lot of mainstream success, and he may achieve a modicum of success, but I just don't see eye to eye with how he portrays the genre. And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Weapons will be a banger. I don't know. I've just kind of stayed away. Hey, Grande, I can't wait for you to talk about these movies. Awesome. Slasher Fred, Dan, always happy to have you in the house. And you won't have to wait too long. I promise my story won't be terribly long. People saying hi to one another. Awesome stuff. Holy fuck, just checked the MLB standings. Didn't realize the Blue. Yeah, and then the Mets go there tomorrow night, so that should be fun. The Mets got one hit yesterday. You talk about fun, I don't know. But before we get into the main topic here tonight, of course, cheers. I already drank my water, so I don't have anything to cheers to you guys. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the meet and greet I went to this past Friday at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. It was only a short hour and 15-minute drive from me. And I went out and I met my favorite pro wrestler. It was really surreal because, of course, I had tickets to SummerSlam for the weekend. It was only night 2. I was going to Sunday night's SummerSlam in MetLife Stadium, like 60,000 plus people. And it was a really fun show. It was a great show. I thought WWE did a really good job this year. And I thought it was actually better overall than the WrestleMania show that we ended up getting. However, of course, I had bachelor party, invite. And my buddy Nick Centrone, who's a big fan of the show, he may be catching the replay. Welcome, or hi, Nick Centrone, if you're watching. He was nice enough to invite me to his bachelor's party. And he doesn't drink or smoke. So he was like, take me to SummerSlam, baby. So we all got tickets and stuff like that. We went. We had a great, great time. Nick is such a gracious host. Him and Kelly, I wish you guys the best. I know you guys get married in a few months, so absolutely thank you so much for being great hosts, and we had a great time this weekend. But of course, before I went there on Friday, I drove over to the American Dream Mall, and they did WWE superstar meet and greets, and they did photo ops, autographs, the whole 9 yards, and they had a ton of people there. Of course, I know on Saturday, Rhea Ripley, I think there were 40,000 people there, or something like crazy like that. Friday when I went, there was like 15,000, so I beat the crowd by about 25,000 people. And I met Io Sky, who's my favorite pro wrestler, and is someone that I thank for kind of the big reason why I got back into pro wrestling as a fan. I watched her just a year or so ago, WrestleMania 40. It was a match before the main event. It was before the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns 2 match. And she had a match with Bayley on that show. And I remember people in my wrestling chat, they were like, oh, this should be a good match. And I remember it coming on, and I was just enthralled by her performance and all the emotions that she made me feel, the excitement that I felt watching wrestling again. And it meant the world to me. So that was the moment I sort of became an Io Sky fan, and I've just been watching her religiously. Her triumphant title win on Raw earlier this year, and then the WrestleMania match with Bianca and Rhea. Just a great performer, great talent, just really a big fan. So getting to meet her was really cool, and I figured I'd run through the story really quick. So I get there. They have the Superstore line. It is around the state. I mean, it is the craziest line you've ever seen in the world. And all for like bootleg stuff. It wasn't WWE official merch. It was all bootleg stuff. So I thought that was kind of funny. And then eventually came time for me to wait in line to meet Io Sky. And of course, they call you by group. So it was group 3. So it was only like a 20-minute wait. But I got there, got to the front of the line. I thought I had a game plan. I thought it'd been cool. I've met some cool people. I've met Amy Steele. I've met George Romero. I've met Tom Savini. I've met Takako Fuji. I've met some cool people. But I've never been starstruck like I was with Io Sky. I truly got starstruck. She raised her, reached out to shake my hand. I shook her hand. She shook with both. And she was like, come, we'll take a picture. And I was like flat-footed. I was struck and I was stuck. Like I just didn't move. I was like, great eye contact. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, holy shit, you're real. You're a real person. Here you are. And she sort of had to reel me in to take the picture. She was like, come on. We'll stand right here. We'll take a good picture together. I was like, okay. So, we put our arms around each other. I smiled. And right before they snapped the picture, I hear this guy behind the camera go, keep your head down. The glare in your glasses. Because, of course, I've got the classic Grandes here. So they yelled at me to keep my head down, and I got fucking jump scared. Yeah, the horror host himself got a little jump scared. I went, oh, shit. And then they snapped the picture, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, I probably fucked up this picture. I'm going to look fucking scared as shit. So sure enough, I go around the other side, and they printed out the picture, and I thought it came out great. I was so relieved with the picture. I was like, this looks great. We look great. It's a cute picture. And then I went immediately online to get her to sign it, and I could show you guys the picture up right here. Me and Io Sky, and she was nice enough to sign this. This was, of course, my name in Japanese, and she put a little heart. I don't know what it says in the middle here. Maybe if we have a Japanese graveyard fan in the house, what this says here in the middle. I see a heart, but I don't know what that says. And then, of course, this is her name and the date. And she was so nice. I got to talk to her for a few minutes. I asked her about Goku-sen because I love that show. And I was asking her, I was like, you must have grew up around this time. And she said she was a fan of it. I told her she's my favorite wrestler. I thanked her for helping me become a fan of wrestling again. And she was so gracious, so nice. Really cool, attentive. She helped me get this is a frame, like the little plastic seal for it. And I want to frame this. I definitely want to put this in a frame, but she helped me get it out because it was a little sticky. She was like, yeah, sticky. I got you. And she was just super cool. It was a really nice moment. I know sometimes people say don't meet your heroes, but when you do and they live up to your expectations, it's possibly the only thing that can make them even more your heroes than they already were. So, nothing but kind things to say about her. It was such a absolute honor to me, a surreal moment. And like I said, I don't get starstruck too often, but I truly was. Like, I wish someone had recorded her like reeling me in. She's like, come on. Like, as I was like, oh, I'm good, you know? And then I got there and just froze. I fucking froze. So she was nice enough to reel me in. And we just, I don't know. I thought the picture came out great. I was truly on cloud nine. I walked out of there like, I don't know. I was here. I totally was very happy. And I had a great rest of the day. I actually hung out with a friend from the community. We got dinner and a movie. And funny, I guess to cap the story off, I got to tell this story because it's sort of horror related. I checked into the Bates Motel. And you're probably like, huh, what do you mean? I decided to stay in Jersey because I had to be there, for the rest of the weekend. And I stopped at this place, and I will call them out by name. I don't even give a shit because I already filed for a refund. The Bud Lake Inn in, of course, Long Valley, New Jersey. Drove over there. Took me like a half hour from where I was in like East Orange. And I checked in. It seemed okay from the outside. Seemed okay from the lobby. And then I checked into the fucking room. Opened the door. There was dirt all over the bed. Like, looks like somebody literally took dirt, rubbed their hands in it, and just rubbed it all over the fucking bed. It was on the shower curtains. They had no running water and no running air conditioning. It was hotter. I was sweating like a whore in church when I walked in this room. I was like, what the fuck, man? And I'm on the phone with my mom. My mom's like, oh, FaceTime me when you check into your room. So I'm FaceTime my mom, and I'm seeing all this for the first time with her in the face. She's like, no way. So showed, turned the water. It made this loud like farting noise when I turned the water faucet. It just went... and no water came out. And then there was no air conditioning. I'm like, buddy, this is fucked up. So I immediately checked myself out of there. I checked out of the SmackDown Hotel and I drove down the road, Jaboni Drive, all the way to the fucking Mount Oliveville Inn, which shout out to them. They were great. I would have drank Mountain Dew off their floor. That's how spotless that place was. Slept good, slept like a rock, had a great weekend with great people, and I'm just very thankful for it. But of course, sometimes it's funny, like a lot of people are like, did you argue with them? Did you bitch? Did you complain? I was like, dude, I met my hero today. Like that, like today, I mean, tomorrow's enough worries for itself. This is enough worries for itself, but I got to meet my hero today, and that's all that matters. So it was really no bringing me down, but a funny experience nevertheless. I hope I get my refund. If not, whatever, it is what it is. But a really nice weekend, really cool people, a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs, a lot of good pro wrestling. And of course that meet and greet really was the standout for me. It meant a lot. So definitely really cool. And I'm very thankful for the whole experience, but let's get back to your comments and we'll get to the monster movies. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to I don't always get so personal on these things, but it meant a lot to me, and I definitely wanted to say a few words on it. Barbarian was a disappointment to me. I'm hoping Weapons was better. I'm hoping the same thing. I'm pretty much in the same boat. Envy of your weekend, John, since I was in Italy, less envy, but what a great PLE you attended. Genius of the Sky forever. Jays Mets for the series. Fuck yeah. Hey, man, I'll sign up for it right now. Granted, the Mets, I don't know what the Mets are doing, but I would be fine as long as the Skankies don't win that division. I want to see the Blue Jays win because I'm telling you, man, people are going crazy in the city, and I love it. It is literally the sky is falling on the Skankies, and I'm just all for that. Grande, you also saw the Bates Motel. Yes, that's the story. The Bates Motel. I checked in. No Norman, no Norma, but a lot of dirt, no air conditioning, and no running water. Not a recipe for success, guys. Not a recipe for success. Thank for the Mount Oliveville Inn. That they saved my fucking ass. That's a killer pick, Grande. GQ magazine cover right there. GQ, me and EO Sky on GQ. Come on, that would be awesome. But yeah, no, she was. I was so fucking relieved. Like sometimes you meet your heroes and you hear horror stories, right? Like how many Savini horror stories are there? How many horror stories are there? But I mean, with her, it was just so cool. Mano a mano. I just immediately clicked with her. I was like, oh, thank God. And I wasn't rushed. Like, I'll be honest, there's some conventions where you get rushed they didn't fucking rush me at all. Like they were like, talk, and I did, and I got my time, and I was like very, very fucking relieved with it. So really cool. Instead of Betty Davis eyes, you only had eyes for Io Sky. Io Sky has my eye. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's weird. She's a gorgeous lady, don't get me wrong. And she was soft. Like she shook my hand and we put our arms around it. I was like, this woman is like silk. She's human silk. But like, I don't know. I admire her as a professional so much. Like, yeah, she's beautiful, attractive, whatever. But like, it's more than that to me. Like, I really admire how she works. I don't know. I'm a huge fucking fan. I love the emote, and I love all that. It definitely always makes me smile. That's awesome. You got that printed and signed. Yeah, man, it really was. And I definitely want to get a nice frame. I think I'm going to go tomorrow or Saturday, and I'm going to get a nice frame. We'll either put it on the wall behind me or maybe in my room. I'm not sure. Maybe the Beatles will finally go down, because that poster's definitely, it's seen better days, baby. It's seen happier Abbey Roads. I'm going to Raw in October when it's in Sacramento. I'm trying to get my mom to go with me, LMFAO. I've been getting her into WWE. I'd love to go to San Diego for Survivor Series. You should go to Petco Park. That would be really cool. I feel like it's been a while since they've done a show in a baseball stadium, so that would be really cool to see. I hope you go. And of course, enjoy yourself in Raw in October. That's going to be a blast, man. It says soy sauce. Just kidding. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I would love to know what it says, because her translator, she spoke good enough English to me, but the translator was like, how do you spell your name in English? So I told her, and then she signed it in Japanese. And then Io was like, hold on. And like she was about to give it the picture back. She would hold on, and she signed whatever's in the middle. And I don't know what that says. So I would love to know. Any Japanese translators on here, please let me know, because I would love to know. LO Mateo. Yeah. Just curious, is Io accent like on TV? No, I would say her accent is, she sounded and acted exactly like she is on TV. She's just a natural baby face. Like, I don't know why they ever had her be a heel, and they did for a while, but man, she's just a natural baby. What a great weekend. I'm happy for you. Yeah, it really was. Thank you. Yo, Joe Mama in the house. What's going on, Joe Mama? Hope all's well with you. Did you see that recent Cornette video where he was ranting if he had to keep or fire WWE roster? He was immediately going to fire Io. Brian had to talk to him into keeping him. I was shocked. Yeah, you know what? I've heard a lot of people that don't like, I don't think Kevin Nash likes her style. I know there's a few. Listen, that's the thing. Like, and I think this goes for everything, not just wrestling, but sports in general, and even horror movies. So like, the beauty of all of it is there's flavors. There's different flavors of the genre, of sports, of athlete, of talent, whatever you want to say. And we all can like and dislike what we want. They're the big knock on me. I've heard people say, oh, you're not a real horror fan. You don't like Hammer horror films. I don't think that's a fair criticism. That'd be like saying to someone who loves every flavor of ice cream, oh, well, you don't like Rocky Road. You're not a real ice cream lover. Well, that's one flavor of all of them that they don't like. That's why there's so many flavors to choose from. That's how I see it. If Jim Cornette feels that way, that's fine. He doesn't have to be a fan. I'm a big fan, though. Like, I'm the fucking promoter. She's champion for years and years until I see somebody worthy of beating her. But, I'm sure there are people that disagree. That's the beauty of it. We all have different tastes and flavors and shit like that. So, it's cool. But welcome, Ben Grimm. Hope all's well with you. Hey, how are you doing, buddy? By the way, I'm almost done with my training, and my birthday is coming up. Well, happy almost birthday, Anthony Chabot. Hope all's well with you. Got 930 subs, 70 more, and this man's in the 1K club. You have to throw that up on the wall. Yeah, no, I will. I totally will throw it up on the wall for sure. I totally will. How was Io Sky? I just went over it, so if you want to even rewind me back, I swear to you, I just told the whole story. I don't want to reiterate and waste anybody's time. Google Translate, take a picture. That's a good idea. I didn't even think of that. All right, we'll have to do that. I'll have to do that. For some reason, that did not dawn on me. So you know what? I will have to do that. I'll let you know if I do that and what it says, because I'm curious. I'm very curious. If I went to Survivor Series, I'd definitely get Rhea meet and greet if they offered it. She sold out. I don't even think in 15. I think she was sold out in 15 minutes. Rhea Ripley was sold out. That's how quick it went. So, buddy, you be on your A game and you refresh that page as much as you can, because that lady sells out quick. She's the female Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, that's how over she is. R.I.P. Lonnie Anderson. That classic WKRP Thanksgiving episode is a very iconic episode. R.I.P. Lonnie, absolutely. Fuck Hammer movies. Well, I had some criticism I get. Ola Grande, welcome Texas THC 1965. Hope all's well with you. And yeah, we're about 20 minutes in. We'll kick this show off. I'm sorry for you that are only here for the movies, but definitely want to go over that. So thank you, Io Sky, one last time. And I think it's time. I think it's time we bust it out. I think it's the time, my friend. I think it's Wheel of Torture time. Yes, Wheel of Torture time. Of course, we have 6 monster movies to get here to tonight on Grande's Graveyard, 1 from each decade. And I don't think we're going to spin the wheel. I think we're going to make a goddamn deal here tonight. Only on the Graveyard. Let's spin the wheel. Let's make a goddamn deal. And is this going to be the first one? It looks like it. I think Miss C totally jinxed that shit. Because the first movie on the list here tonight is, of course, the latest movie, even though it came out 24 years ago. It's from the year 2001. It is GMK for short. GMK if you're me, but if you're going by the actual title of the movie, it's Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, giant monsters, all out attack. Now say that 10 times fast. I don't think you can. Of course, GMK for short for Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, what have you. Brief plot synopsis, though, as we load this in here. A reporter notorious for working with pseudo-documentaries must uncover the legend of the 3 guardian monsters who must rise to defend Japan from the vengeful spirits within Godzilla. Yes, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, monsters all out attack. GMK if you're more daring. I love this movie. This has always been one of my favorite Godzilla films, and it's definitely in the top 5, may even be top 3. It's up there. It's quite up there with the original, with Godzilla -1, with Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. It's right there in the top 5. It's somewhere. I don't know where, what number, but it's definitely up there. And the ultimate reason for that is a lot of the background and mainly the action in the movie. Now, of course, Godzilla at this time was really kind of needing a resurgence, right? Of course, in 1995, you had Godzilla versus Destoroyah. He puts Destoroyah over and away. There's a new Godzilla born from the radioactivity within his stomach. And we thought we were going to get like a baby kaiju Godzilla series or a son of Godzilla series moving on from there. But in a lot of ways, that was Toho's love letter to the character. We've done this for 41 years. Let's go off into the sunset. Let's retire Godzilla. We've had so many great movies, so many great opponents, so many tickets sold. Let's just move away. And that's what they did in 1995. They didn't want to do Godzilla anymore. They weren't interested anymore. There was still money to be made. This was a character that was pretty much that you could never milk dry. It was always milk left in the tank. And of course, what happened was us Americans said, well, we'll make a Godzilla movie. If you're done making Godzilla movies, we're going to call up Toho. We're going to call in Roland Emmerich. We're going to call in fucking Ferris Bueller himself on his day off. And we're going to make Godzilla 1998. And unfortunately, I know there are people that are fans of it. Unfortunately, that movie is leaving a little bit to be desired. I don't despise it, but I don't like it either. It's very I like it if it was called something else. If they just called it Zilla, I think it would have been fine. Unfortunately, they called it Godzilla, and his foot is as big as this bus, and all the advertising, and all the marketing, and all the nonsense. And then when you get to see what exactly that movie was, it unfortunately just crumbled by the wayside. It did not have that Toho feel. It did not have that Japanese feel. And of course, that's because it was American. It was something that they tried to do and tried to get over here. And it unfortunately went over as well about as a fart in church. And apparently, the Toho executives and all the Japanese film goers, they got fucking pissed. How the hell we send Godzilla off in this great movie in 1995? He's driving down fucking Sunset Drive with his sunglasses on, and he's driving right into the water, and we could all say thank you to the king of the monsters. And then 3 years later, America, you sons of bitches, you had to fucking go and ruin it. Well, now that fucking tank, we got to refill the milk, brother. And that's what they did. And in 1999, what they did was they made Godzilla 2000. That was their big response to Godzilla 1998. That was their big, all right, we're going to hit you with this big left hand. And unfortunately, that film was a bomb, and it wasn't well received. And I would say, in fact, it's an even bigger disappointment, knowing the whole mentality of the producers were, fuck America, let's show them what Godzilla is. Unfortunately, that film has some of the worst special makeup effects, worst CGI, horrible pacing. Godzilla 2000 sucks. I don't like that movie. I never have, and I never will. So it was a poor effort. It was a poor kind of, let's get the back on the track type of thing. And then the following year, we get the movie that we probably should have gotten with Godzilla 2000. We get GMK from 2001, of course, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Monsters All Out Attack. And the key to this movie, the reason why this is one of the all-time great Godzilla movies, is its director, and it's because it's action sequences. Of course, this is directed by Shusuke Kaneko, and Shusuke Kaneko, he had so many great ideas of what to do with Godzilla and how to make it fresh again and how to make it great once again. And he had so many things that he pitched to the studio. There was a great idea that I thought personally that I still wish they would do or bring him back to do it. It would be so cool to see. Is he wanted to have these astronauts land on the moon, and one of them gets infected with some radioactivity. He comes back and becomes a giant kaiju monster, and Godzilla must fight him. And they were going to tell this whole psychological story of this man who's fighting to, become the man again, but he is this ultimate monster, and he faces off with Godzilla. I think that would have been a great idea. They shot him down. They scoffed, apparently. That is a big rumor that they thought that idea was terrible and that could never work. And then, of course, he threw out some names. He was like, well, let me do some of the smaller ones. Let's do Baragon. Let's do some of the smaller kaiju monsters and have them get some establishment. And Toho refused. They said, no. Like, Godzilla 2000 was a letdown. Godzilla 1998 is an abortion. We're bringing out the heavy hitters. Like, you have to use Mothra, you have to use King Ghidorah, and then the slate and the palette from there is yours. And his whole idea was, we've seen Godzilla as a babyface. We've seen Godzilla as a heel. We've seen him. He works both ways. It works tremendously no matter which way it's been done. I don't think we've ever seen Godzilla more dominant, more mean-spirited, more possessed than in GMK. And that's what I love about this particular movie. What they did was with the look, it looks just like the natural Godzilla look, the great classic man in the suit, the green, dark green. And then, of course, what they did was they made his eyes white, like almost like you can't see pupils, almost like a Deadite from the Evil Dead. They make Godzilla this soulless, heartless deadite that is possessed by the spirits that were lost in the past world war, and he is out for a fucking vengeance day. And the action in this movie is absolute mayhem. It is truly some of the best action you'll get in any Godzilla movie. And this is the most OP you will ever see this character. We always talk about how Godzilla is the king of the monsters, is the all-time greatest monster. He's been around for almost 70, I think it's over 70 years now. Godzilla has been the king of the monsters. This is the movie that, to me, defines him being the king of the monsters. Like, this Godzilla, you can face him against any other Godzilla that there ever was. This Godzilla is coming out on top because this is the true king of the monsters. And that's why I love this movie. There are some crazy, I repeat, crazy action sequences in this. There's a really fun one where this girl is in a hospital bed. Her leg is in a sling, and she kind of wakes up, and Godzilla's storming the city, and she's screaming, and she's trying to get her leg out of the fucking sling. And Godzilla fucking looks through like a PB Tom. He sees her. He looks at her. And then you're thinking, oh, he just walked away. Like, what would he care? All of a sudden, his tail swings around and just takes out this whole wing of the hospital. But every time you watch that, like, at least me, I bust a gut laughing. Like, that is some of the funniest shit you'll ever see, man. Just this poor lady trying to get her foot out of this thing. It's like, no, my fucking foot. And then all of a sudden, fucking Godzilla's like whack with his tail, like the ultimate bitch slap to this poor lady in the hospital that did nothing wrong. But I thought that was great. There's a fun fight with Baragon, and Godzilla just fucking murders Baragon. I mean, it's not even really a fight. It's just a squash. Like, Baragon comes jumping off the top, and Godzilla's like, oh yeah, that's fucking cute. Takes him, slams him to the ground, like curb stomps him with his foot in the face, uses the atomic breath while he's lying on his back, like giving up and shit. Like, that's some of the craziest stuff there is. Mothra gets some offense in later in the third act. Mothra's kind of circling him, spinning the venom at him, and then he just fucking uses that atomic breath. And what I thought was one of the craziest things about this movie, and it was a director's choice, they made King Ghidorah a babyface. And that's something you don't see too much with the Godzilla movies. King Ghidorah is a natural fucking heel. Like, it'd be like turning fucking Ricky Steamboat like heel. Ricky Steamboat's a natural babyface. King Ghidorah is a natural heel. There's no reason to ever turn King Ghidorah into a good guy. And yet they do it in this movie because, again, it's for like the betterment of man, trying to stop the unstoppable monster known as Godzilla. And there's some fun action sequences. There's a mecha fucking King Ghidorah in the third act that gets all these lightning powers and goes at Godzilla. Such a fun time. Like, to me, if you want to just turn your brain off, have a fun time watching a Godzilla movie, this might be your best choice. Like, I think from action standpoint, this is the number one Godzilla movie. I don't think there's a better Godzilla movie when it comes to the action sequences, the monster fights, the actual look and design of Godzilla, the unforgiving nature of like, I'm a soulless kill. I have all these souls, but they've made me soulless, and I see only this white vision. Just really good stuff, man. I wish they had brought this director back to do more because I thought he just did a great job. He really got it. And fun fact, if any one of you are a fan of Godzilla Minus One, the director of Godzilla Minus One states that this is the best Godzilla movie himself. So he's a big fan of it. And it makes sense because I love Godzilla Minus One. So those two mano a mano from the 21st century are two of my favorites. And this one, GMK, man, it just delivers in every single fucking department. Now, of course, I'm sure there are some people that are, what about the human element? What about the human characters? They're fine. They're not really the big reason to watch any Godzilla film. It's very rare that the people and that story and that plot is the driving factor. Like, there's a reporter. She's good. She's played by, I want to get the actress's name right, Chiharu Niyama. She does a good job. She's pretty. She's good for what she needs to do. There's some good back and forth between she and the love interest. It's fine. But, like, to me, this whole movie is just a treat to your eyes and just a lot of fun if you're a fan of action. So, man, to me, GMK is one that I highly recommend. You can watch this on Tubi or not Tubi. You can watch that one. It's a real fun time. Spin that wheel, make that deal. Only, hell yeah. People saying hi to one another. I called it. You really did. I just bought a Godzilla 7-pack and GMK is in it. I watched Godzilla 2000 last night. Wow, isn't that funny? See, I had no idea. That is so freaking cool. I think I'm going to make a bold statement here. You're going to like GMK a lot better, my friend. It is just a night and day difference for me, in my opinion. I know Godzilla 2000 has its fans, but GMK is the bee's knees. Yay, the wheel is back. Oh, absolutely, man. The Wheel of Torture is back only. The Godzilla movie from 1998 had a song by the Wallflowers in it. Yeah, Bellhaver's Heroes. Yeah, I mean, that just doesn't say Godzilla. I believe it was Godzilla 2000 had the Rob Zombie song, Super Beast. I'm your Super Beast. Yeah, I'm the one that you wanted. That's a great song and it goes good, but unfortunately the movie doesn't deliver. We need Godzilla versus Gigan Red. Welcome, Pat. Hope all is well with you. Gigan Red looks so badass. I mean, there's been 40 Godzilla films. You would have think they would have did that by now. Isn't that crazy? They made tons of Godzilla movies. Definitely the monster with the most. The one with Magic Body was garbage, pure 90s. It really is. And it just didn't have the spirit. Like you Godzilla movies for 41 years in Japan. And then finally jumping over here, it just didn't feel the same. And it just, I don't know, they didn't get it. I love Roland. Don't get me wrong. Roland Emmerich has made some movies I really like. But like, I like Independence Day. I like Universal Soldier. These are movies that fit for Roland. He didn't say Godzilla. It was just a bad choice. They needed somebody different to make a movie like John Woo or something like that. That would have been a much better choice for an American Godzilla venture. And unfortunately, that they got what they got. I don't hate it like most people, but it's not good. Godzilla Minus One was truly amazing for sure. Horror and Metal Maestro Red Rusty 66. Russ, welcome, my friend. Hope all's well with you. People saying hi. I like GMK story. I can take it or leave it. The fight scenes are fine. Exactly. Yeah. Like the story, the whatever, it's fine, but like we're here to see the monsters. Like that's one thing with most Godzilla films. That's what you're there to see. Ultimate movie, ... Godzilla versus Pacific Rim. Oh man, you gotta love the dramatic dots. But of course, GMK, one that I highly recommend. I think everyone should see it at least once, especially if you're a fan of Gojira, the King of the Monsters. You gotta love him. And we're gonna spin this son of a bitch. Let's spin it up. Let's spin the wheel and see what is next on the Wheel of Torture. And it looks like we're going to, that's funny. We went from the 2000s, the last decade of the show, all the way back to the one that was starting it all. The one from the 1950s, of course, this from 1954. This is them. Yes, them. The earliest atomic tests in New Mexico caused common ants to mutate into giant man-eating monsters that threaten civilians. Yes, them, of course. And this is Of course, it came out the same year, funny enough, as the original Godzilla movie. This was America's big answer, and this is one that I've always been a big fan of. Of course, it does star James Whitmore as one of the lead, like, police officers. Always loved James Whitmore, whether it be his appearance in On Thursday We Leave for Home or Shawshank Redemption 40 years later in 1994. He's a great actor, and I thought that it was great to see him here. Of course, this was Fess Parker is the crazy pilot in this, and this was the movie that got him the role to be Davy Crockett in the Walt Disney. I think Walt Disney screened this and they wanted Whitmore originally. And then they were like, holy shit, look at Fess Parker. So that's how he got to become Davy Crockett. Kind of crazy. And this was a movie that never should have worked the way it did. And I'll tell you some of the backstory on this. Now, of course, this was a movie produced by the lovely Warner Brothers. And of course, I'm saying that very sardonically. Don't think they're good people. The Warner Brothers, they're just not good people. We'll leave it at that. If you know their history, you know. They're probably better than the Weinstein brothers, but is that really saying much? It's like comparing turd and diarrhea. I don't know. This was a Warner Brothers picture. And the original idea was, let's go all out with this. Let's make this a giant movie. Let's have it in color. Let's have it in 3D, because 3D was making a big comeback from like 1952 all the way through 1955, 56-ish, bleeding over sometimes into 1957. But 1953 was a huge year for 3D gimmick in film. House of Wax is the one that mainly comes to mind. Love House of Wax, 3D pictures. It always has its booms, right? Of course, in 1982, 83, they had a 3D boom. 2009, Avatar, the 3D boom. Like, we always get these random couple years where they're like, holy shit, like, let's do 3D. Let's do everything in 3D. And that was the idea. They wanted to do them in 3D. They wanted to do it in color. They wanted to spend a lot of money. And Warner Brothers, being the pussies that they are, they kind of got cold feet close to the production date. They cut the cost. It's not reported exactly what amount they cut this budget to or why they cut it down. I guess they just didn't have faith. They had cold feet. All of a sudden now, a movie that was supposed to be this big 3D budget picture gets no 3D. All of a sudden, this movie that's supposed to be big in color gets no color. It's in black and white. And the only thing that we see in color the entire movie is the opening title card, them, and we get it in big, bold red and blue. And I love that, how that's done. And it's like, it makes you wonder, like, God damn it, why the hell didn't you just shoot this in 3D? Because the idea was it would come out to you, the red and blue glasses, the red and blue text, and the whole movie would be this big budget monster picture. The producers, the people that were paying the bills, they didn't have the faith in it. Thankfully, the people involved took this very seriously, and I think they hit a home run. Like, this to me is such a quintessential monster movie when you're looking out through the entire history of the genre, because it had a lot to say. And of course, you have a veteran actor like James Whitmore in there. You had, in my opinion, this is a movie that's 70 plus years old. The special effects still look good. The ants still look fucking intimidating and scary with the giant antennas, and shoot their antennas, he'll be blind without them. That stuff's great. Some of the flame throwing effects and things like that. The Wilhelm screams, if you pay close enough attention to it, you'll hear those a lot throughout the movie, which I thought gave it a nice charm. And to me, the number one thing that makes this movie work is the atmosphere, is the creep element. Because, of course, you got creepy crawlies and giant ants. We need some psychology in there. We need some creep aura. And what they did was they shy away from showing the ants for a little while, and instead we find this little girl in the middle of the desert in a catatonic state. And they bring her back to this laboratory, and they sit her down, and they're trying to give her all these things to snap her out of it, and they start to. And what she starts to scream is something that I saw Slasher Fred comment, I believe. I don't want to not click on it here. Them. She starts screaming, going crazy. Them. And they're like, what are you talking about? What is this girl screaming about? And I thought that was the excellent way to get these ants over before we even really saw them. You're building the aura. You're kind of putting them over, the hype man, if you will, the wingman. We're putting these ants over before we've even seen them. We know that shit's going to go down. We know that this is not just a walk through the park. This is anything but. And that's why I thought them was really well done. It's just creepy, foreboding. And then finally, when the ants do show up, you're like, holy shit, man. Scary. To me, it's still scary to this day. I know this was a movie that George Romero, actually famously enough, was always saying that, like, that's where horror was at this time. And, I don't know if he meant that in a good way or a bad way, but I think what was cool and important is that horror movies were drawing. This was a movie that drew. This was a huge date movie at the time. Big date movie. Bring your dates. Go to the drive-in. Watch a bunch of killer ants and James Whitmore and people like that. I mean, awesome stuff. I really liked the whole era that it was introducing. And of course, whereas Japan had Godzilla, and that was a monster movie. I mean, no pun intended. It made a lot of money, sold a lot of tickets, and created the King of the Monsters. America really did answer with a very solid effort. I like them quite a bit. I think it's really well done. The director is a guy that didn't really go on to do too much horror. I believe his name was, I want to get his name right here, Gordon Douglas. Not really a horror filmmaker, but he got it. He really got it. And I think the last thing I want to really touch on here is the whole finale, right? We have these boys that get kidnapped by the three main ants, and that's all we see at one point. We don't ever get more than three ants on screen, I guess, because Warner Brothers probably, they were like, well, you got three, probably what happened there. Of course, these two guys, these kids are kind of captured by the ants. James Whitmore, he's fighting to get them out of there. He just gets them out of there, and the ants kind of swarm them. And then, of course, the ants get flame thrown, and then they ask the pivotal question. They're like, okay, this is it, right? And the doctor kind of lets out that very fateful statement like, yeah, that's it for now, but what's next? And even though I don't think what they were trying to say is how I interpret it, I think what they were trying to say was nuclear war and all these man-made fights and things like that. That's what's creating these monsters. That's what creates the ultimate pawns in the chess game. And it's always, of course, ourselves that traps us underneath, and then the ants can eat the remains. It's always us versus us, which is a great theme in a monster movie, right? The monster's there to pick the remains. The vulture collecting the proverbial bones, if you will. That's the psychology that's going on here. And that's something that George Romero, funny enough, would make a big theme of his career, possibly the biggest. Why I liked this movie, too, and a big reason why I think it was important is because they asked that question at the end, what is next? We don't know. Only God knows what's next. We can only imagine. And they were right. Monster movies were only getting started. It just got bigger and it just got better. And we threw a lot of special makeup effects at it. And we threw these great big budgets at it in color, some of them in 3D. You see Warner Brothers, you see what happens when you take a chance on things. I love this. I love that this is a movie that they didn't believe in. It overperformed, it over-delivered, and it sort of started the trend in America of all these other monster movies that would follow. Of course, you get Tarantula a couple years after this. Not as good of a movie, but still a movie that I think is heavily influenced by this one, right? The effects aren't as good, fine. Its heart was in the same place as a movie like them. And I love that this is a really influential, big budget, I guess, meant to be big budget horror movie that kind of moved us along into the genre at the time. It's a horror classic to me. I really think this is an important horror film in the history of the genre. So I was definitely excited to discuss this one a little bit here, but let's get back to the comments and see what you guys have to say. I think that what makes these movie classic is that it was sort of the start of the jump. Oh, exactly what I was saying. Yes, you had the movies like Tarantula, Black Scorpion, Deadly Mantis, beginning. Exactly. That was what they decided to do. They were like, this made a lot of money. Let's go do something else. Let's go put a giant tarantula on the screen. That's what they did, and it worked. Boinkbot is in the house. They did the mash. Welcome, Boinkbot. That's a first-time name in the graveyard. Welcome. Hope all is well. Them is awesome. I'd have to agree. I love them. I think Them is an awesome movie. If you ever watch the original trailer, it almost feels like it is a news report. Yeah, so that worked and played to it, too, because, of course, this was the time maybe like a decade or so before they did all, the Orson Welles and the War of the Worlds and things like that. But you were still in that umbrella. And World War II, right? We're talking about radiation. We're talking about atomic stuff, nuclear. I mean, World War II wasn't even a decade prior. It was still going on. So pretty wild when you think about it. It was close to home. They didn't wait so much time, but I think it works in a lot of ways. People say Black Scorpion is a favorite for sure. I also love that Gila monster. Okay, people saying hi. The scene where the traumatized child is screaming about them that's my favorite scene in the whole movie. It's so good. It's the perfect way to get the ants over, right? This sweet, innocent child found in a catatonic state. Have her put them over. Have her sell them to us. Them. Holy shit. It's perfect. The poster reminds me that I haven't seen Alice, Sweet Alice. Well, yeah, that's a classic. I love Alice, Sweet Alice. Them is a classic. I'd have to agree. I think Them is a classic. It's a very important and influential movie in the genre. I've been on a serious Ray Harryhausen binge lately. I watched the first two Sinbad movies. I know I'm off top. Oh, you're fine. No, I mean, Ray Harryhausen, that's another thing. I mean, Jason and the Argonauts, that's another movie that was very influential in the history of just film, not just, I mean, obviously it's not really a straight up horror movie, but in the terms of the special makeup effects and the stop motion effects, and people were trying things in camera that they had not tried decades and decades prior. So this is, if you're a fan of film, it's so nice to see how it evolves. At least me, I'm a nerd, so I like to see how it evolves. Sometimes people are just like, it looks like shit. It looks fake. Move on. I'm a nerd for it. I'm like, look where we started, and then look where we get now. And now it's a bunch of computer generated stuff. Now movies are made on computers, and I think it misses that magical touch where we kind of peaked in the 70s and the 80s with the special makeup effects and all these great, special makeup effects artists like Rick Baker and Rob Bottin and Tom Savini and all these great guys that created not just legendary monsters, but great gore effects, great practical makeup that were all done in camera. I mean, and these were just gimmicks, right? I think it's nice to see that they really came from the school of stuff like this. This is what they watched growing up and said, hey, I want to do that and make it better. That's the whole beauty of it. Alice Sweet Alice is a very Hitchcockian thriller with a very young Brooke Shields. It was released a few years before our iconic movie, The Blue Lagoon. That's just another banger. The 50s had some fantastic creature features. You could do a Monster Mash on just 1950s movies, really. I mean, that's how big it was in that era. That was the peak of this type of movie, and them was the one that really started the wheel in motion. There may have been ones before them, but not with the same amount of impact that them had, and definitely didn't sell the same amount of tickets. 1950s also had the reboot of the Universal Monsters done by Hammer Studios, absolutely. Brooke Shields seems to have survived through being a child star. I'll bet she went through some stuff, but it seems like she has her stuff together. She was huge culturally back in the 1980s. She was a beautiful lady. She really was. Still is. She still looks great. Warner Brothers archives have a lot of those 50s. They have a lot of the archives are very full. I even love the giant claw. Hilarious. It's as big as a battleship. Yes, right. The best of the movie of the 50s is Night of the Hunter. Night of the Hunter is a fucking masterpiece. There's so many great talking about just straight up 1950s movies. Wow, you just literally unlocked something. You broke me, my friend. I will say off the top of my head, Harvey comes to mind. I love Harvey. I think that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Jimmy Stewart. I love that movie. Sunset Boulevard always was overrated. That's a big one from the 50s that most people like. The Best Years of Our Lives, I want to say, was 48, 49, so that wouldn't have been the 50s. That's, I think, one of the all-time great dramas is The Best Years of Our Lives. Like, you can't watch that movie and not fucking cry, unless you don't have a fucking heart. I don't know, but that's another great one. Love that film. There was also the movie It Came From Beneath the Sea. That's right. See, Sacha Baron is a scholar on this stuff. Creature from the Black Lagoon, which was also in the 1950s. I could watch that any time of day. He's not gigantic, but he is in my heart. Very nice. The Giant Claw was so bad, the lead actor went into a screaming in his hometown, and the audience laughed so hard at the creature, the actor snuck out. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. You gotta love stories like that. But you know what? It's a job, and if you're a working actor, you want to work. You want to get a job. So that is them from 1954. Highly recommend it. We're 2 for 2 so far, and now we may just start playing with fire. Let's spin the wheel. Let's make a deal. Are we gonna go 3 for 3? What are we gonna be? Oh, of course we're not. I fucking knew it. I was like, there is no goddamn way we're gonna get another one that I really like. Oh boy, from 1965, this is The Beach Girls and the Monster. Yes, The Beach Girls and the Monster from 1965. Brief plot synopsis. Surfers are being brutally murdered. Is the culprit a sea monster, or is it just one of the teens' jealous parents? Yes, The Beach Girls and the Monster. Now this, holy shit. This is one that to me you can file under the same umbrella as a movie like Blood Feast, as a movie like Troll 2. Movies like that. The Room. It is so bad that it is fucking funny, entertaining, and it keeps you glued the entire picture. This is a movie that runs an hour and 10 minutes. It's 70 minutes, and that's with credits. This is a short movie, and it breezes by. It is ultra low budget. And this is a movie that, if you know filmmakers like Fred Olen Ray, this is a movie that Fred Olen Ray probably, I like, some people think Gone with the Wind is one of the all-time great movies, and it is. this to Fred Olen Ray, this is a movie like Gone with the Wind. You could clearly tell if you know Fred Olen Ray and the type of movies that he liked and the style of movies he made. It's clearly stuff like this. It's clearly stuff like The Beach Girls and The Monster. Because, man, this is a bunch of fucking 60s cheese if I've ever seen it. Of course, the movie opens with a montage of all of these beach girls dancing in bikinis on the beach, and they're having a grand old time. Polka dot bikinis and the most generic song, like we're surfing the time and we're having some fun and we're dancing around with our dates. It's like, it's so fucking bad. You're just like, oh my God. And then the movie starts, and what it is basically these women that are, you know, having fun with their dates on the beach and whatnot. And there's this kind of secret forbidden cave, and there is where the monster lives. This, I guess, blatant ripoff of the creature from the Black Lagoon. That's basically what the creature looks like. You might be able to see a little bit. It's not a great picture of it, but I'm sure if you have your phones, you can look up what the creature looks like. It's a pretty blatant creature from the Black Lagoon knock. They weren't fooling anybody. And you clearly, you know, the guy in the suit, whatever, the whole 9 yards. This movie has some of the fucking funniest acting and atrocious dialogue that you will ever see in a film. It tells the story of this main couple. And of course, we follow the guy character more so. And he is, of course, from a family where his dad's a scientist and his stepmother is sort of a nymphomaniac, I guess. I don't know. She's crazy. She wants to have sex with her stepson. It's very uncomfortable. She's like, yes, son. Like, and she's posing in all these sexy ways for him and things like that. And she's like dying for this guy to just take her. And I will say the woman was gorgeous. Sue Casey. Holy shit, man. I was wishing this was in 3D because this would have been fucking great experience in 3D or virtual reality. Beautiful lady. I won't lie to you. But my God, it's uncomfortable because she's just trying to bang her stepson. And it's just odd. It's just like, what in the hell is this? Like, why did they feel the need to go incestuous here or try to, or I guess kind of incestuous? I don't know. They're not technically blood, whatever. It's still fucking weird. And then, of course, we watch these people get picked off one by one. There's a lot of arguing. There's a lot of, oh, this mad scientist created this, and we fucked around with nuclear stuff again, and that's maybe what created this monster, blah, 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 blah. And the fun thing of it is, and I think this was smart, the whole movie is sort of a ruse. And what do I mean by that? Of course, we see this creature in the monster suit, whatever, and it looks so fake, it looks so bad that you kind of laugh with it. The big twist at the end is that it is actually one of the people, I won't tell you who, but it is one of the people that is, you know, involved in the story, and they are dressing up as this creature and posing as it and killing off the beachgoers one by one. And there's a whole bullshit, stupid reason as to why I loved my son. I swear to you, that's the fucking reason. It's fucking horrible. And then the whole finale is he's getting chased and he drives off a fucking cliff. And that's how this movie is. I mean, this is truly atrocious. This is not even B cinema. This is like D cinema. There's no fucking intelligence here. There's no good acting. There's no good performers. There's nobody that went on to be anybody in this. There's generic music. There's good-looking women, bad special makeup effects, and just an all mess of a movie, but it has that charm. It does have that charm, like I was saying, like a Blood Feast, like a Troll 2. It is so bad, it's sort of good in a way. You do laugh with it. It's, I think, an entertaining time. So if you like movies that are so bad, they're good, I would totally file this movie right under there. The acting is so over the top, so bad, makeup effects so terrible that you truly do sort of have to laugh along with it. And that's sort of why I liked this movie overall, even though it was a mess, even though it wasn't the greatest thing since sliced bread, unfortunately. But I don't know. I had a ball with it. It was bad, but in a good way. I mean, the title sounds promising. Yeah, it does. It does sound promising. I mean, are you, if you're a Fred Olen Ray fan, I'm telling you, you will love this movie. Like I could only imagine if you ever went to Fred Olen Ray's house, I would bet money he'd have a poster of this or something like that. And it is a great poster. I like the poster a lot. I was like, I want to pick ones that people would not know, really. And another funny part of it, too, is that the music is horrible music. Don't get me wrong. It's always very generic, up, go-go, 1960s, whatever, peace and love. The music's all done by the son of a legend. And the son of that legend, yes, I'm talking about Frank Sinatra Jr. Frank Sinatra Jr. did all the music for this movie, which is absolutely wild because it's terrible fucking music. And he would have been a really young guy at this point. I don't know how old Frank Sinatra Jr. would have been, but I would have guessed in his 20s. had to be young here. So, and he would thankfully go on to get a little bit better. Obviously, never achieved the modicum of success that his dad did, but of course, I guess you got to start somewhere. And he started on the beach with the Beach Girls and the Monster. Yeah, really crazy bad movie. You can't go wrong with 50s creatures features, but you can go wrong with 60s creature features, I guess. Because I think the last time we talked about the Blood Queen, the Blood Queen, I think it was called, which was a precursor to Alien, and that's a big, big influence on Ridley Scott, that movie, but not the greatest movie in the world. The 1960s had the Beach Party series with Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon. Yeah, I mean, if you like those type of pictures, it's in that vein for sure. Like Herschel Gordon Lewis would love this movie. It's a very CD picture. It really is there. That's why I dig it. Yeah, see, some people like So Bad It's Good. I don't think I can handle this movie now. It's not for everybody. Granted, it's a 70-minute. It's not. You're not going to waste too much of your time. I will say this: you're not going to watch this and go, "I wasted my time." It's funny. It's entertaining. It's not. It's never boring, which is a big thing, I think. But yeah, if you're here to see an actually good monster movie, look somewhere else. Beach monster movies are far out, dude. Yeah, especially that one with the Bratwurst creature House of Horror of Party Beach. Oh boy, I don't know. I've not seen that one. I've been spared by not seeing that one, but I have seen the Beach Girls and the Monsters, and we're gonna move right on from it because it's a shitter. It's not great, but it's funny. 70s, 80s, and 90s remain. Spin it up. The Wheel of Torture decides that it's time to go from the 60s to 20 years down the road to the 1980s, of course, where we jump into, in my opinion, the best movie we're going to talk about here tonight, from 1982. This was a remake of another monster movie from 1942. Of course, 40 years earlier, they had made this movie in 1942. I'm talking about Cat People. Yes, the Cat People, and we have a brief plot synopsis. A woman who was orphaned from a young age finally reunites with her older brother. Matters start to go haywire when she slowly discovers the true nature of her family. Yes, Cat People. Now, of course, this was a remake which was directed by Paul Schrader. And Paul Schrader, if you're a big Martin Scorsese fan, you'll know that name. Of course, he's the guy that wrote the screenplay for Taxi Driver. He's the guy that wrote the screenplay for Raging Bull. He worked hand in hand with Martin Scorsese. He learned the ropes from him, and he would go on to direct some really good pictures. This being one of my favorites, one of my standouts. I love this movie. I think this is a great horror remake. And of course, it stars the voluptuous Nastasia Kinski. I always fuck up her name, so sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but she's gorgeous. Of course, you might remember her from films like Tess, which she's the lead in Paris, Texas, Harry Dean Stanton. Love those movies. Those are great movies. And I mean, probably a little bit better than the movie we're talking about here tonight, but if there was a number 3, it's Cat People. And I love this movie. It's got a great cast. That's the thing that ultimately jumps out to me when you're talking about this particular film, is the cast right off the bat. I love all of these people in there. You got John Hurd. You got Malcolm McDowell from Clockwork Orange. You've got Annette O'Toole, who was just stunning. And this was, I think, the year before she did Superman 3, where she's Lang. She's Lana Lang in that movie. I always loved Annette O'Toole, but she's just gorgeous. You have John Larroquette in a really small role. You have Ed Begley Jr. is one of these patrolmen people. You have Lynn Lowry is the hooker that gets attacked by one of these panthers at night. Just everywhere you look, you see a star. It's a beautiful film in that regard. The casting director just deserved an Oscar for this. Just got a great group of people. And I love how this is done. I love the visual feel, the vibe, and the aura of this film, because even though this is a movie talking about cat people and it has great special makeup effects, don't get me wrong, this is a horror movie about the horrors of lust and the horrors of sexuality and the horrors within ourselves when we have the desire to be with someone, whether they be of our species or not. And that's why I love this movie. I think this is such a well-directed picture. It has a great scope to it. I don't own a 4K of this, but if there's a 4K out of it, I gotta get it, because I think this movie would just look incredible in 2160p. I mean, just incredible. I couldn't even imagine. We open up as we see this old school day. We see our lead character as a child, and we see, that she's walked over to the tree, and we see all this great the visuals in the sky and things like that. And we fast forward to her getting to the airport and meeting her brother for the first time, who's played by Malcolm McDowell. And you slowly learn what exactly is going on, where the two of them are not of our human race. They may look like humans, they may act like humans at times, but they really are cat people in their heart of hearts. And of course, every night they transform. And of course, you have Malcolm McDowell's character. He kind of orders prostitutes and attacks Lynn Lowry in one of the scariest scenes in the movie. Help me! She's screaming. She falls on the steps and her whole ankle gets fucking mauled. Really creepy scene. I liked how that was done. I love that a lot of this movie, it takes place when it's raining outside. We see a lot of great shots of their characters just standing in the pouring rain, just dramatically looking on. Loved that too. I thought that was great. And we kind of develop a little bit of a love story between John Hurd, who I've always loved, Ring Around the Redhead, Big, Home Alone. John Hurd's great. He worked with Scorsese himself just a few years after this. I mean, I love John Hurd. May he rest in peace. I always thought he was a great actor. And he kind of falls head over heels for her, and she starts to love him too. And a big theme of this movie is she's a virgin. She's talking to Annette O'Toole at this point, and they're in the bar and stuff. And Annette O'Toole is saying, like, hey, you don't got to be so afraid of men. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you so afraid of? And she says, oh, well, I'm just waiting for the right one. And she's like, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, I've never been with a man. And she's like, wait, what? Like, you're a virgin? What do you mean? And she's truly scared of a few things. I think she's scared of it truly not being the right man. And of course, the monster that said man will bring out in herself. She knows she cannot control the monster within. And I love that narrative. That's why I love storytelling in horror, and especially in monster movies. I can't control what's here. I can't do it. And that's a big reason why she's so hesitant to get with John Hurd, yet she wants to. She lusts for him. And McDowell is great here too. I love McDowell's monologues and the way that he's trying to say, you want to lust with him. You want to fuck him. Like, he's great as he's just trying to get her to push over the edge. She's teetering the whole movie, and he's just trying to be that last nudge to get her to go off the edge and into the wild. And his whole idea is he wants to mate with her in order for them to truly both be their own real form. And man, I love this. Like, it's so well directed. I think the writing is great. It's a 2-hour film. Do you feel that? Absolutely. It definitely does have a little bit of pacing issues. But for me, I personally, the longer the better with this movie. I couldn't get enough of it. Scope, performances, the writing, the sexuality, the tension between said sexuality. It's just so good. And when you get to the actual makeup effects, man, you're talking about a movie that came out 43 years ago, 1982. The effects still look great. I love when John Hurd and Kinski, they're in the bed together and they've just had sex and she hasn't turned. And it's like, holy shit. And they're kind of rolling around. He's kind of like groggy. She wakes up and turns into the cat people creature. And the way it's done, it's literally like her face just splits and boom, she's a panther. I thought that was incredible. Like, I know obviously the year before this, Rick Baker and American Werewolf in London and that great transformation scene. And we all remember that. That's a landmark moment in the history of the genre. If you love this genre, that scene. That scene means the world to you. I would say this is a 1B situation where that transformation, it's quick, it's sudden, but man, it packs a punch. And I loved how that was done. I was like very impressed by that. To this day, 43 years later, I still think that looks really, really good. It's still like, wow, how'd they do that? Wild. You just get some fun kill sequences. You get Ed Begley Jr. He's kind of sticking his arm in there. He gets his arm ripped off in a big gory way. That's pretty fucking crazy. You do get the really fun pool sequence with Annette O'Toole. And if you like yits, you do get to see Annette O'Toole's yits. She thinks that, of course, the cat people are coming for her. So she gets in the pool. And the director does a great job where he shoots the shadows on the ceiling. And we hear cat sounds. I love that, man. And then it's a false jump. Like, she comes out, she goes, what did you think? I was going to hurt you? Like, that's really funny. And she just kind of walks away. But you see, she destroyed her clothing. Like, she must have ripped and teared and clawed out of Annette O'Toole's clothing. And Annette O'Toole's like, I just fucking saved my life. Like, I absolutely loved that. I thought that was absolutely great. I really did. I thought that was really, really well done. The director did a fine job here. And of course, like I said, it's a lot of love story. It's building to that ultimate crescendo of them having sex and what is going to be the remnants of this. And I don't know. I just think this is a really well done movie all the way around. I love it from start to finish. I think it's the best movie I'm going to be talking about here tonight. I highly recommend this movie. This is a great, great, great remake, in my opinion, is The Cat People from 1982. I just think it's an absolute banger. Really, really good one. Let's see what you guys have to say about it, though, because I'm a big fan of this. I know this is not one that a lot of people have really praised over the years, but it's a movie that seems to get its, just desserts maybe a little bit more so now than then. It's funny. The lead actress, she hated this movie. She hated it. Absolutely hated it. Like, she's like, I didn't like how it was done. I didn't like working on it. She considered it a big, disgrace of her filmography. And I just have to disagree. I just loved her in the role. I thought she was perfect. She has this great vulnerability, this great expression when she's learning what's going on, and this great desire to stop it. Like, I don't want this. This is not what I want for me. I love it. I think it's really good. You know me, Grande. I watch bad movies, so you don't have to. Yeah, basically, that's your nostalgia critic. I just don't like boring movies. If I'm snoozing, the movie is losing. Well, you definitely won't be snoozing during the Beach Girls and the fucking monster. That's definitely entertaining. The original 1942 was very suspenseful. There are some sounds of the movie that are very much like a cat. You never know if the woman was becoming a feline or if it was just her imagination. That's a big thing with that movie as opposed to this, where I'm sure some people will kind of say, oh, well, that's why I take the original. It makes sense. Like, I totally could see that. This is one of my favorite remakes, though. I love it. It's not teasing you in that department at all. It's like, she is a cat person, and like all the horror is more with the sexuality. It's funny. I know the director always said he took pride in the fact that he made a monster movie where the monster wasn't the real tense element. It was the skin. It was all the skin that you see throughout the picture. It's a very sleazy film. It's very seductive. And that's why I like it. I think it's really well done in that department. Cat People, the first film that I assembled as a young projectionist. Really? Oh, that's pretty cool. Followed by The Beast Within. Very cool. Very cool. On the movie score, the track to Bridge has been used in a few movies. It was used 5 years later for that trailer to the movie Less Than Zero. Okay. And of course, we have the David Bowie song at the end, which is great. I had to learn the real splicing progress, and I loved every minute of that. Very cool. Natasha Kinski is the daughter of Klaus Kinski, controversial actor famous of the Nosferatu movie, of course, with that was just a few years before this, the Klaus Kinski Nosferatu with Isabella Adjani, who was one of my all-time favorite actresses. Soundtrack from Giorgio Moroder and Bowie, just kick ass. Yeah, you can't. The music is great in this too. It really is. Like, I just love this movie all around. There's really not a flaw. Maybe it's a little long, but I'm here for it. Like, this is a movie I don't mind. I wish it was longer. Like, that's for me. People saying Putting Out Fire. Let's see, Giorgio Moroder. Poor Ed Begley Jr. getting his arm ripped off. That's a great sequence. It's crazy. His cat-like movements. Let's see. The sequel to the original movie, The Curse of the Cat People, is mostly on a family theme. Okay. Housekeeper's name. Please give us a better look at your t-shirt if you're okay with it. Yeah, no, we got the Godzilla and the Smog Monster here. We always have to rep that for the shirts. Yes, it is Hedora. That is Hedora. Let's see. The original is awesome, but I prefer this remake. It really is one of the best looking movies. Yeah, I agree. It looks so good. It's funny, man. I have found, now it's not on purpose, but it's the truth. Like this, The Blob, The Thing, you had a lot of great horror remakes in the 1980s. Now, obviously, that's a great decade for horror when it comes to original content. But man, the remakes just all sort of hit at this time. It's weird. Some of the best horror remakes really did come out in the 1980s too. So that was just, it was an era where it was hard to miss. Cat People, Putting Out Fire is used by Tarantino and Glorious Bastards, but I don't have to tell you that, John. Wink. Yes, of course. Yes, you gotta always love the QT. Nobody uses music better than QT. Let's be honest. I agree wholeheartedly. It is. It is a gorgeous film. I've got to pick this one up, and I know I saw that Spanish and the French one sheet that were way better. I mean, I don't mind this American poster. It's okay, but at the same time, I always want that Mexican Spanish/French poster, though the design of that where it's her and the cat, mano y mano. It's La Feline. I love that. I thought that was awesome. And I will tell a funny, quick story before we move on from Cat People. The cool thing about this is I saw this poster as a kid in the video store. This is one of the movies I can very, very vividly remember in my mind, going up and down the aisle of the video store and catching my eye. Something about the C section, right? It was the fucking Child's Play 2 with Chucky cutting off the fucking Jack in the Box. And C, Cat People was right there too. I always, as a kid, thought it was Nev Campbell on the poster. And you can sort of, from a distance, I feel like you could totally think it's Nev Campbell. Like I was convinced it was Nev Campbell, and to the point where I rented it and was upset. It wasn't. I was like, you son of a bitch. But in real life, I realized, and I'm a little kid, it was like 1982. So yeah, no shit. It's not going to be fucking Nev Campbell. She wasn't. If she was alive, she was a wee bit lad. But that's something I always thought that was Nev Campbell from a distance. So something silly but funny. Jeff is in the house. We'll have Jeff on the show in a few weeks to talk about some genre cinema. Speaking of French, Giorgio Moroder soundtrack is banging. This is a movie that there's no weakness. It's just so fucking good all the way around. Like I enjoyed myself tremendously amongst the rewatch for this. Scream Factory has a 4K now. I got the Blu-ray really cheap years ago. Okay, I mean, Scheme Factory, I always kind of hesitate, but yeah, I would like to see a fucking 4K of this because I watched it in like standard def, and it doesn't do this movie justice. Like you totally need to watch this movie in the best quality. So I definitely may have to pick up the 4K because man, this is just a spectacle to me. A really, really good film. Paul Schrader did a great job here. I love the locations, love the performances, the cast, writing, themes of sexuality, all that stuff is just really hit on the head to me, and I love Cat People for that. That's one that I really, really like. So moving on here. We've got the final two. We got the 70s or the 90s. And what's it gonna be, guys? What's it gonna be? Oh, boy. Looks like the 70s. Oh, boy. Pretty much emphatically the 1970s. As we move on to the second to last film here tonight on Grande's Graveyard. This is Tentacles. Tentacles. Brief plot synopsis. A mutated giant octopus wreaks havoc on a California seaside community. Tentacoli, a.k.a. tentacles. Now, if you know anything about sea life, you know that octopuses don't have tentacles. That's squid. So right then and there, they didn't even do their homework on. They didn't even bother. But this is your classic. Someone in Italy said, "Fuck Jaws. I'm gonna make a better movie. Let's get everybody in a circle. Let's fucking figure this out. Let's rip the shit out of Jaws and let's make our fucking money." And that was everybody's idea after Jaws comes out and makes just under $500 million in the world. I mean, Jaws was the big movie of 1975. It was the summer blockbuster. It was a movie that was ripped off countless times in the States, in Italy, in Spain, in Japan, everywhere. They were loving to rip off this movie, whether it be Grizzly, whether it be Orca, whether it be Alligator, whether it be Tentacles, which was Italy's attempt to rip off Jaws. And their whole idea was they wanted to make it hokey at first. That was their whole plan and approach. And of course, as it went on, they were like, wait a minute, why don't we try to make this as serious as possible? And unfortunately, I think that was a mistake that forever haunted them, because what we have in this movie is, it's weird. We have all Italian background actors for the most part. And most of our main players are huge. I repeat, huge American actors. Don't believe me? Get a look at this cast. Let's look at the cast of this movie and tell me if you're fucking shocked that these people would be in the movie like this. John Huston is the lead as Ned Turner. Shelley Winters plays his sister in the movie. I love Shelley Winters from fucking Lolita. Bo Hopkins. Henry Fonda was supposed to play the Ned Turner character, but had a heart attack. And then they decided, let's just give you a smaller role where you're on the phone and you're saying stuff. And the fact of the matter is they only had Henry Fonda for a day because he was in such poor shape. They wanted John Wayne at a point to be in this movie, and they were going to do it, but they didn't end up going that way. Steve McQueen was considered. It was crazy how many people were considered for this particular movie, considering how fucking bad it was. But you do have some big American actors in there. And the whole idea, like I said, was to let's rip off Jaws. Let's make a lot of money. That was the idea. There are conflicting stories about the budget, and that's a big thing here, which I couldn't get a straight answer whether the budget was one or the other. I've seen places where they said the budget was under $1 million, went for about $750,000. I've also seen sources where they said they had about $5 million. I don't believe that for 2 seconds, that they had a fucking $5 million budget. However, if that is true, it led to one of the all-time craziest on-scene / on filming location accidents that there has ever been in film. What do I mean by that? The story goes that they created a giant rubber / animatronic octopus to be the killer of this movie, right? Jaws has Bruce. Fuck are you? Fuck are you? I'm Italian. Fuck are you? I'm going to make a giant rubber animatronic octopus to fucking go one up your asses. And they spent a reported around $1 million on this fucking animatronic rubber octopus. That's what they spent around. Now, that's if this was a $5 million budget movie, which I don't believe. But they spent a lot of money on this octopus. They get to the point of, let's shoot the underwater scenes. We have our underwater cinematography ready. Let's get this thing in the water. The fucking octopus sank to the bottom of the fucking sea. And down the drain went 20 fucking % of your budget. Down the fucking drain went a 7-figure rubber animatronic Italian fucking octopus. It sank all the way 20,000 feet below. And they were only able to retrieve a tentacle, funny enough, of it, which, granted, octopus don't have tentacles, but whatever, we'll just go with it here. They were only able to retrieve that from it. So somewhere at the bottom of the ocean, wherever this was shot, there still is this giant rubber animatronic octopus, which is so fucking crazy to me. Like, holy shit, man. Like, could you imagine? There's a bad day on the job, and then there's that. Like, all right, let's get this thing in the water. All our hard work is about to pay off. We've heard all these horror stories of how hard it was to work with Bruce on the set of Jaws and blah, 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 blah. They get this fucking thing in the water and it plummets, and that's it. I mean, right then and there, I would give up. If I'm the director, I'd say, I fucking quit. I don't want to fucking be attached to this. I want you to change my name to whatever pseudonym you want to change it to, because this is a fucking disaster, and it's not going to get any better from here. And of course, the director of said project was Ovidio G. Asinitis, who of course went under a pseudonym with this particular film. I think we can get the pseudonym here because he only directed a handful of movies, and they were all pretty bad. He was also uncredited director of The Piranha 2, The Spawning, which is, it's about that level. He went under the name of Oliver Hellman, and he also directed the video Nasty Madhouse. He directed that, so funny enough. This movie's fucking horrible. This is just a bad Jaws ripoff, and it's not funny because it's taking itself so fucking seriously that it is a chore to sit through. And it runs just about an hour 45. You'll be bored within 20 minutes of this movie. It is so fucking dull. As we watch Shelley Winters and John Huston, their brother and sister, for some reason, Shelley Winters has like an 8-year-old son. I'm like, buddy, Shelley Winters was like almost 70 at this point. Shelley Winters was drier than fucking dry, man. That fucking forest had dried up at that point. Let's be honest. There was no more fucking winter going. It was going south for the winter, man. Shelley was just not doing it anymore. Lolita, she was old than that. And then here you got Shelley Winters running around with an 8-year-old kid and a giant fucking cowboy hat. Why? I don't know. What did she have up there? Was she have a bunch of fucking dildos up there? I don't know. But she's running around town with her 8-year-old kid. She at one point forgets the kid's fucking name. She goes, "What's your name again?" I'm like, "That's your fucking son, lady. What the hell are you talking about?" Horrible. There are fucking horrible sequences of horror in this movie where in the beginning, this woman is sitting by the water with her baby in a carriage. She's on a fucking cliff lakeside by this fucking water. She's like, "Oh, I'm playing with my baby." Somebody from across the street parks their car and goes, "Hey, come over here, bitch." So the lady comes over to the fucking car, crosses this busy highway, leaves her baby on the edge of the water, and we're supposed to get the idea that tentacles got the baby. We see these trucks pass, and all of a sudden the carriage is gone. Woo! They stole the fucking carriage. Fuck you. You gotta be fucking kidding me. And you're probably wondering, well, Grande, if the fucking animatronic sank, what did they do for special makeup effects? How the fuck do you pull that off? What they did some Ed Wood shit. They got a fucking diver to go into the water, hold the fucking one remaining tentacle they had, and swash it around and swim to kind of go at the people. It is absolutely mayhem. It is absolute insanity. It is just fucking horribly done. And like, I will say there are bright spots. I mean, some of the music's okay. It has some decent underwater cinematography. It has bright lights in it, but holy shit. And the cast, right? You know, you have some really great veteran actors, but holy shit, this is a really bad picture. I mean, from top to bottom, this is a horrible Jaws ripoff. And like, I dare you. You know what? I'll go out on a limb. I fucking challenge you. If you think Jaws 3 is a bad movie, watch this. I fucking dare you to watch this and tell me it's better than Jaws 3. This is horrible from every fucking element. There is a montage scene in this movie where a bunch of people are going out sailing, like it's Jaws 3, right? And it's just not Waterworld. There's a bunch of people out sailing, and you get the idea that the octopus killed them all. Like one scene, they're all dancing and having fun, and this bad montage music, and then all of a sudden, everybody's just gone. And you get and everyone's like standing on the shore in horror, like, "No, it got them all." I'm like, how the fuck quickly did it get them all? How? It ain't that. You have 8 fucking possible tentacles. 1 if you count the one you actually had. And all these fucking people died within a split second. We were partying, having a montage, sailing, eating fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the fucking boat with some Lay's potato chips to the side. And then all of a sudden, we're all fucking dead within a second. What the fuck, man? Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And they try to bring this stuff into it too. Oh, waste into the ocean. You fuckers, you did this. It's your fault. Blah, 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 blah. It's trying to be all serious about its tone and its message and how we are evil. Yes. No, horrible. Absolutely fucking terribly done. This movie has not 1, but 2 special Blu-ray releases. This has a Scream Factory release on Blu-ray, and it has a fucking Kino release, special edition on Blu-ray. How? I really want to know how. This is a horrible movie. Like, I truly think this is in the bottom echelon of the Jaws ripoffs at that time. Grizzly's better than this. There's no doubt. Piranha's better than this. Alligator's better than this. Fucking any of those movies I just mentioned are better movies than this. I mean, Orca is better than this. Piranha 2. I don't know about that, but it's close. I mean, this is a horrible movie. It's boring. It's dull. It's got some great, great actors. And funny enough, they all fucking disappear. All the great actors in this, they disappear by the hour 15-minute mark. Maybe they couldn't pay them anymore. I don't know. You don't see Shelley Winters for the last half hour. We don't see John Huston for the last half hour. We don't see the people who've been watching the first hour and 15 minutes for the last half hour. We don't even see them. Horrible. One more sequence before I move on. I mean, this is a horrible movie. I'll get to your comments. There is a fucking 400-pound man, a giant fat guy in the water with his apparent girlfriend, who is this hot Italian model. And you're like, how in the fuck would this work? He gets in the water after like splashing her and he's swimming around. He's like, oh, I'm fat. Fuck, I'm having fun in the water in Italy. And out of nowhere, he just flipped upside down. They held him underwater and his feet are just kind of sticking up straight out of the water. This fat fuck. And I'm like, what the hell? And she goes, my husband. She's screaming for her husband. And this guy's just feet are just sticking out of the water. It's just like, what the fuck, man? What are you doing? Like, this is truly, I wish they had tried to be more funny with it, because after what happened with the octopus swinking in the water and losing all that money and all that, you should have just been like, let's just have fun, because all of this literally just sank. Our ambition just sank to the bottom of the fucking sea. So I don't know. To me, it's worth it just to watch it maybe for that one story, just knowing that happened. Like, can you imagine the fucking just the despair on the entire crew's face of that happening? Really crazy shit. But, you know, only 1970s, only tentacles when you have a story like that. But let's see what your comments have to say. Where the fuck were we? Wow, a lot of comments here. Holy cow. Where the fuck were we? Holy shit. Asinitis is awesome. His last name sounds like STD, but I love his fix. Yes, exactly. He really does. Asinitis. I think what makes these movies along with Jaws and Piranha so very classic is the way the villain is kept hidden in a very similar. Yes, he like this, they keep him hidden, but that's only because it fucking sank. That's really the only reason. Like, I don't even know if I can give him credit. It's like, yeah, it might have been cool if you had a real. I mean, what they do instead, I mean, a big thing to do in Italy was stock. Hey, fuck you, stock footage. Of course, like Mountain of the Cannibal God, which came out the following year. That has a ton of stock footage of tigers and all of these wildlife animals in the fucking forest. Like, that's what they did. They just said, fuck it, we'll just get some stock footage. And you can clearly tell here where it's like stock footage of an octopus. Whoa, look at that. Holy shit. Okay, now our one tentacle. Here it is. Here's our one tentacle, our big rubber tentacle that we should have shoved up our asses. Another banging soundtrack too. Stevio Cipriani, the legend. Yes, absolutely. Stelvio Cipriani. Yeah, no, it does have a decent score. I will say that. There were a lot of Jaws ripoffs. I love watching them, even if they're terrible. This is a terrible one. I will say to you, like, you can go so much, even with movies that may be considered worse. There are a few worse ones at this time to me than this. Like Great White is a way better movie than this. Cruel Jaws is a way better movie than this. Like, this is towards the bottom for me for sure. I don't know if it's the bottom, but it's bad. The fucking octopus itself hit the bottom. Wasn't too shabby. Could have used more tentacles. It's on Tubi. Did you really watch this, Burns? I'm surprised it wasn't too shabby for you. I was like, turn this off. Like, it was torture for me. I thought this was terrible. It was good to see Shelley. That's about it. I like John Huston too, but my God, this was fucking bad. The movie came out the same year as Pete's Dragon, also with Winters, which I love Shelley. It's not her fault. That money was laundered. Ain't no way. Yeah, here's the thing. If that whole story of that being an $1 million octopus is true, and they had $5 million budget. I don't know. This doesn't look like a $5 million picture. It doesn't. Even for the 1970s, right? You got to adjust for inflation of 1977. $5 million goes a little bit longer of a way than $750,000 does. Let's be honest. I tend to believe the $750,000 story, which makes me think that animatronic / rubber octopus was not as expensive as they say now. But it is still quite a story, no matter what happens. And I can't get confirmation. I don't know exactly the numbers here because I've read so many different sources that say so many different things. It's one of those things where now I don't know if we'll ever know the true story, the true figure. It's almost become a legend in and of itself. It's more interesting than the movie. Speaking of Jaws, there was once a TV monster movie that came out in the 1990s called The Beast, which also was based on the story by Peter Benchley, who actually was fortunate enough to meet. Peter Benchley was a really cool guy. Of course, wrote the novel Jaws. The score to this movie was very suspenseful. Okay, it sounds like you guys are fans of this. That was a cocaine budget. Yeah, maybe the cocaine budget was $3.25 million, and then, or no, to $4.25 million, and then they used the $750,000 to make the movie and the octopus. I don't know, but yeah, maybe there was. I mean, I know that. Oh God, who was the guy? He did Alien 2, Solta Terra, Alien 2 on the Earth. Oh, Jesus, he sucks too. And me and Mateo were shitting on his life. He took like 75% of the budget and blew it on cocaine, strippers, a car. He did all that and admittedly did it. And then used the last 25% of his budget to make the actual movie. Hence why it fucking sucks so bad. And of course, unfortunately, Mikel Suave got caught in the middle of that as an actor. I forget his damn name. Mateo might know it off the top of his head. But that guy's a piece of shit. They had gumption and the wherewithal, or however it's spelled. Okay. Madhouse is a great movie. Yeah, Madhouse is a good nasty, actually. It's definitely a lot better than this. He did a much better job with that than he did with this. How the mighty rise, or how the fallen rise to being mighty. The American actors had a well-paid vacation in Italy. This is the Italian Plan 9 from Outer Space, in my opinion. Really? You look at it that way? That's wow. See, Plan 9 from Outer Space, though, has charm. Like this, I didn't find any charm. It's just like, oh, like turn this off. Like horrible, man. But, you know, I mean, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they got paid handsomely, right? Like, I would, at least I would think. I mean, even fucking Claude Atkins is in there as like a fucking sheriff guy. I was like, Claude Atkins too? Like, holy shit, how many great actors do you have in this one movie? And it's so shitty. It's crazy. The death of the child in the carriage is a very scary scene, mostly because of how 1 minute's there. See, I thought that was not done too well. I thought it was so like hokey, but it's trying to be serious. So I don't know. It didn't work for me. It sounds like I'm in the minority here. If you guys like this one, that's cool. I just didn't. I don't know. It has a 3.8 on IMDb. I'm pretty with that. I love Shelley too. We all love Shelley. May she rest in peace. She was great. I think she was Elvis Presley's mom in the Elvis movie just a couple of years after this. And she's a great actress. LO Asinitis is going to find you tonight and give you the Asinitis STE for flaying him on this live, Grande. Well, bring it on, Asinitis. I'm going to hit you with the one fucking tentacle you got left, buddy. I'm going to throw you under the fucking sea, and you can go see if you can find that son of a bitch now. Fucking 50 fucking years later, 48 years later, whatever. Only you would bring up this movie. Yeah, hey, you had to have fun with it. Asinitis, the name makes you want to head to the doctor. Shelley Winters was also in the Poseidon Adventure. Why don't we just do a Shelley Winters retrospective? Why the fuck not? No, you're fine. It was Shelley Winters. See, I think Jaws 3 is fun too. I have fun with Jaws 3. Like some people tell you it's the worst one. It's the biggest disgrace. Fuck Jaws 3. No fucking shit, it's not well made. No fucking shit, it's a stupid, turn your brain off, 3D. You got fucking Leah Thompson, Dennis Quaid, fucking, you know, I have a blast with Jaws 3. That's a fun, bad movie. That's a fun time at the movies. This is the opposite. This is like, when is this over? Like, it's just a boring film. It really is. The one tentacle in the water was actually John Huston's dong. No special effects required. Oh no, not Mr. Houston, man. He's trying. John Huston's like acting like this is the fucking Academy Award nomination or something. He's really giving it his all. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, this is fucking, you should be ashamed you sign on to do this, man. I can only imagine if they actually got John Wayne, like how fucking funny that would have been. Didn't she play the mother of the famous bankroller family, Big Bad Mama, or was that Angie Dickinson? I'm still confused. I don't know. That I don't know, to be honest. Also being too lazy to Google. Let's see. Long Dong John. Oh my God. Wait a minute. I fucking skipped way too far. Long Dong John. Yep. Long Dong Silvers. That was his nickname in high school. Yeah, he fucking, hopefully he was. I don't know. He was born to star in Tentacles. Orca is much better. Orca's great compared to fucking great. Shelley Winters once did a spoof of the most infamous criminals of all time, Kate Ma Barker, called the Ma Barker on an episode of the original Batman series. Was she really? I didn't know that. I didn't know she was on the Adam West Batman series. I have to check. What's Risk Grande? Beyond the Door, Tentacles. And he directed Beyond the Door as well. I think Tentacles worse. This is an absolute fucking worthless movie. You had some good music, some good underwater cinematography. That's my only two positives. You had good actors on paper, but they're not even in the whole fucking movie. It was like, all right, your money's out. Okay, let's finish the movie with other people. That was what they did. I was like, what the fuck? Like, if Shelley Winters is there in the finale fighting a fucking octopus with an umbrella, I mean, fuck, maybe it would have been a lot better, but they didn't do that, unfortunately. People saying they love stuff. What a fabulous way to wind up a very stifling hot day. I enjoy your enthusiasm. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Let's see. Ciro Ippolito. That's right. Ciro Ippolito. That motherfucker. Yeah, he sucks. That guy fucking blew all of his money. He said, fuck you. I'm going to make Alien 2 on Earth and we'll escape being sued and all that and blah, 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 blah. And then fucking, of course, that son of a bitch blew all the money on himself and cars and getting his ass laid. Fuck that guy. That guy's a piece of shit. I'm with you, man. Could this stream go forever? Do we really have anything more important to do? Thanks. Lord B, projecting those 3D movies was challenging. We had to run 2 projectors. Wow, very cool. AJ's Happy Fun Time channel is here. I'm going to hit you one of my tentacles. AJ's here. Oh, shit. He's throwing testes and testicles. He was the Long Dong John in high school. Wire, I'm not that much Irish, but we have some in me. Okay. They should definitely do a spin-off testicles in AJ's Etro film. I mean, who wouldn't see that? That would just be cinema, pure cinema. But yeah, this movie, man, holy shit. Absolutely horrible. I don't know. I don't like Tentacles. It's my least favorite of all the movies I watched this week for show prep. I thought it sucked. I thought the whole thing sucked. Like, didn't have a laugh, didn't have a fucking anything good to say. I don't know. I just didn't like it. It took itself way too seriously, too, for a movie like this. Which means, of course, the last movie is going to do its victory lap. Yes, it is none other from the movie from 1990, the last decade we'll be covering here tonight on Grande's Graveyard. It is none other than Jeff Daniels in Arachnophobia. Yes, Arachnophobia from 1990 in the briefest of brief plot synopsis. A new species of South American killer spider hitches a lift to a California town in a coffin and starts to breed, leaving a trail of deaths that puzzle and terrify young Dr. Ross Jennings, who is a newly arrived in the new town with his family. Yes, Arachnophobia. Now, this, of course, was directed by Frank Marshall, who go on to do movies that I know get some shit like Congo and movies like that. Like, I think he's a good director. He didn't do too much, but I like the filmmaker. I think he does a good job. This is another one like Cat People where I instantly jump to the cast. This has a really, really good cast in it from top to bottom. I mean, the lead, the anchor of the film, who plays Dr. Ross Jennings, Jeff Daniels, who I've always just one of the most likable. We talked last week about how likable Kevin Bacon is. Jeff Daniels is another one of those guys for me. He can even be playing a scumbag in something like Terms of Endearment, and you like him no matter what. Like, he's just one of those guys, he's impossible to dislike. It's very hard. And he's great in this as the new town doctor who's met with a lot of hostility from the town. They sort of push him away and, oh, we don't need you. This is our town. We were fine before you. We'll be fine after you. Like that type of situation. And then, of course, you have Julian Sands, who is one of the main doctors at the beginning of the film. He's the spider arachnid expert, if you will. And it's sad because he, of course, died on a hiking trip, and the movie opens where they're sort of hiking. So I kind of got sad when the movie opened. I just thought about it. It kind of hit me. I was like, oh, man, like R.I.P. I always liked Julian Sands. He did Warlock the year before this. I always loved him in that. He was an underrated talent. I always liked Julian Sands. Unfortunately, did a bad Argento. Phantom of the Opera was not the greatest, but not his fault. John Goodman as the exterminator is so much fun in this movie. You have Stuart Pankin as the sheriff. You have Harley Jane Kozak as the love interest, the wife character of course, Jeff Daniels in the movie. And I think she's such an underrated actress. I always loved her in a movie that came out the year before this. It's called Parenthood with Steve Martin and Rick Moranis and all these other great actors. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Parenthood. It's great, great drama. And she plays the wife of Steve Martin in that. I could feel like they saw that and were like, we got to get her to be the wife interest in this. Just a solid anchor. She's so good as the wife character here, is to ground Daniels and really help him throughout this, maze. I love her in the movie. She does a great job. The cast is great. And then, of course, the whole idea of the plot, I love how simple it is. It's just guy moves to a new town, spider outbreak comes about. And this is, of course, just before the era where CGI started to take off, right? You have 1995-ish is where it really started to peak, and let's do everything computer generated. Let's do computer generated effects. Let's just do it. That was just 5 years down the road. So to see them using actual spider wranglers and putting strings on these spiders to make them travel between scene and scene, and you actually physically see real life spiders in the shots, that goes a long way for me. That to me makes your monster movie so more credible, because you know what they do now. 35 years later, it would all be computer generated spiders. That's all it would be. I liked Sting. Sting was fine. It just came out last year. All it was CGI spiders. Like, you showed you here that it can be done practically, that it can be done well, that it can make these spiders scary because they're real and they're really there. They're really on the screen. You can really see what's going on. That stuff, man, I thought that stuff was excellent. And of course, the whole idea of the movie, the whole kind of aura and arc is for our lead character. I thought that was well done too. Of course, you learn that Jeff Daniels had an incident as a kid with a spider. He tells the story early on in the film, and he's terrified of it. He doesn't want to face it. And the whole idea and arc for this film is he has to come around and face his fears. If he wants to save his family, if he wants to save his town, if he wants to save himself, he has to go about facing his fears and beating the big bad spider that lives and resides in his barn in the third act. And I love that. All of it's so well done. It's well shot, well directed. And I know this director gets a lot of shit, like I said, for Congo, stuff like that. I don't know. I thought he did a great job. I thought Frank Marshall nailed this. You, of course, also have some really interesting sequences with the spiders themselves. You have the football player that puts on his helmet. He's going over the middle for a pass. He gets tackled, and they think he died upon the impact, but really the spider bit him and killed him with the venom. You have the one guy who doubts him, this other doctor in the town, who his wife says, the floors are freezing, put on your slippers. So he puts his slippers on, and the spider's in there. He gets killed and has the heart attack. I loved that. I loved the ways they did this were great. The girl in the shower, washing her hair, and then all of a sudden the spider's on her body slowly drying down. You're like, oh, like, don't bite her, like the guy sitting crapping on the toilet and the spider's crawling up, and it's like, oh, he's gonna bite his ass. That stuff, it's all so well done. It's meticulous. It's, I think, nice in the way that it teases at points and it also delivers at points. Some of these people get bit, some of them walk away scot-free and they never know what's going on. But you still get that tension there, and I think it's good, with or without payoff. And that's tough to do in this genre. Generally, we need the payoff. We need to see the big blood splatter. This is a movie where it toys with you. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And I thought that was really good. And of course, John Goodman is electric in this as the exterminator. What will you do? I don't think you got an arachnid here, but we will find your arachnid-like friend and we will blow him to kingdom come. Like, I love it. The way he says it. He says he's on a knee in the bathroom like this. He's like, we will blow him to kingdom come. Like, so fucking funny, man. John Goodman is so good in this movie. You have the great scene with the couple. They're eating the popcorn, watching Wheel of Fortune, and you see the spiders like in between them, and they're like, oh shit, like, what's gonna happen? I love how that was done. The whole finale where the spiders invade the fucking house and Jeff Daniels is trying to get his family out of there, and they're on the railings, they're coming down from the ceilings, they're in the bathroom, they're at the window, they're everywhere now. Loved how that was done. It's arachnophobia is like a perfect creature feature, and it's one that I'm so happy that it was able to qualify for the 1990s, if even barely, because I know it was a 1990s picture. But this was a big hit too. I mean, people don't realize that this movie made over $50 million worldwide. That's nothing too shabby, considering it came out in 1990. And this is a movie about. I mean, this you could have seen this flop. And thankfully, there was money to be had, and people went to go support this. And it's understandable why, because it's well made. Really well acted. I like the story told in it. I like the action. I like the tension, payoff. It's all really well done. I like Arachnophobia a lot. Probably number 2, just behind Cat People of the movies we talk about here tonight. As far as quality goes, I really really like this. I think it's a really good one. So Arachnophobia is one I definitely highly recommend. But let's see what you guys have to say, because I'm very curious as always to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. Where were we? I think we were here. Arachnophobia is such a very classic movie. I'm with you. I think this is a classic movie too. It's funny how many fucking big spider movies have I seen in my life? Giant ass spider, ice spiders, Sting, fucking 8-legged freaks. There's so many spider movies. This is the best one. Like, to me, this is easily the best spider movie. I don't think there's a better spider movie out there. Kingdom of the Spiders with Shatner. That's a good one, but I don't like it as much as this. AJ Zitro's raising his hand. I guess I don't know what that is. John Goodman, Jeff Daniels, what a classic. Yes, John Goodman almost steals it. You almost wish he was in it more. I wish John Goodman had to help Jeff Daniels at the end fight the monster mono. It would have been fun to see them tag team the monster. I thought that would have been really cool. But John Goodman's so fun in it, and I like that he doesn't die in the picture. Like, there's a great did you bring the specimen back alive? Like, Julian Sands is so excited. Did you bring it back alive? And John Goodman's like, well, he's kind of alive on the bottom of my shoe. Like, and he shows him the fucking spiders like mangled on the bottom of his shoe. I thought that was great. Perfect comic relief. Badass character, you knew he meant business, and he also just makes you laugh. Like, that's John Goodman 101. He's so talented and can play any type of role, and this is definitely, one of those roles for him. Yes, that's right. Spielberg did produce this, and this is, of course, was just a couple years away from when he makes Jurassic Park, which changed the world in a lot of ways, and of course, he had made Jaws, which we were just talking about how many movies ripped that off. So Spielberg did have his fingers in the cookie jar here, and I'm happy this wasn't a Spielberg-directed movie, because it wouldn't have been as raw. You wouldn't have had as many deaths. I don't think it would have worked if it was Spielberg. I think they had to go with an outside name. They had to just have Steven give the money and then everybody else do the rest. And Daniels was the right guy to lead this ship. He was totally the right choice. Like, he does such a good job in it. R.I.P. Julian Sands. Yeah, Julian Sands died way too young. Really sad. In 6th grade, we got to choose a class movie for the end of the year. It was between Arachnophobia and Clueless. We eventually got outvoted and watched Clueless. Wow, that is awesome. So what would I bet, like, because Clueless was, 97, 98-ish, somewhere in that ballpark, so it would have been right around the time. That's a shame we got outvoted, but Arachnophobia is a banger. That would have been very funny to watch in a 6th grade class. Arachnophobia is a great movie. I remember specifically seeing advertisements in the newspaper as a kid. My parents wouldn't take me. That is, wow, I will tell you something, man. I miss those days too. Like, even though I'm sad that, I'm happy that I can see R-rated movies in the movies now. Like, there was a time in my life where I couldn't, and it wasn't even that long ago. Like, okay, you have to be 17 to see R-rated picture without a parent or guardian. So I've only for 11 years been able to do that. So I've lived more of my life without being able to see movies on my own with parents as opposed to living. So it's crazy. Like, I remember all the movies I would drag my dad to take me to go see. And these are some shit kick. I mean, Saw the final chapter. Papa Grande was right there with me with the 3D glasses on. I think the first horror movie I saw in the theaters that were R-rated and I wasn't with a parent or guardian and I didn't sneak into would have been It Follows, which is funny enough, like my favorite horror movie of the past, probably of the century. I love that movie. But it makes you a little nostalgia, right? For the times where you needed mom and dad to go with you. And I don't know. I love that stuff. That would be a fun talk for a day is like movies that you remember having to see with a parent or things like that. Cabin in the Woods, Mama Grande had to take me. She had no choice. Or she's like, what the fuck did you take me to see? What makes Arachnophobia so very memorable is that how most of these movies you have been talking about are about giant monster movies, but this one is centered around an actual arachnid. Well, you look at all the movies we discussed tonight. We had ants, we had a beach monster, we had a giant octopus that somehow had tentacles, even though that's squid. We had cat people, we had spiders, and we had the king of the monsters himself kicking ass and taking names. It's fun to see smaller monsters, right? This is the movie where ants, we got to make them bigger. This is most of the movie until you get to the third act. It's the regular size spiders. So it makes it sort of more relatable. We've seen these regular everyday spiders, right? They always say, oh, when you sleep, spiders may crawl on you. You may eat, ingest, or swallow a spider when you're asleep without even knowing it, right? They say there's like an annual amount that you do, and we don't even know it. These things, they creep you out when you start thinking about them a little bit more. So yeah, the horror does drive home here because it is so genuine and organic. Goodman's always great. Yes, Goodman I think, is one of the best things in this movie. I agree. Parenthood, dude, I'm happy you've seen that. That's an underseen movie, even though I consider it a classic. It's one that so few have seen and discussed. I love that movie. Like and that makes sense because I know you're a family man, so that makes total sense. That I love that movie. That's a great flick. It's a Steve Martin, Rick Moranis at their best. Really good one. When you're sliding into home and your fats are full of foam, diarrhea. When you're sliding into first and you feel something burst, diarrhea. I love that movie. That's a great one. What would you say that your hair color could be? What the fuck? All right. I mean, I don't even know how to answer that. There was also a 1970s movie called Kingdom of the Spiders. Right, with Shatner. There's something on the wing. Remember Eight-Legged Freaks with David Arquette? Another pretty fun spider flick. Yes, that's the one I mentioned. That's, again, not as good as this to me, but a fun one. Definitely a fun one that did get a pretty decently sized theatrical release, I think. I'm pretty sure that one got a pretty decent one. It catches nuisance bugs. Okay. The shower scene still makes me squirm. Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's a creepy one for sure. Oh my God, what a roller coaster thrill ride. So funny. I saw this in the theater when I was 7. Scared the shit out of me. Still no love for me to spiders. Yeah, no, I don't love spiders either. Spiders creep me the fuck out. I like Spider-Man, but that's about it. Let's see. Arachnophobia was a childhood classic. I love it. I agree. I love it too. I saw it much later in life. I actually was probably in college by the time I saw this movie. So I don't know. I really love this one. I think it's a definitely a nice way to cap the whole list here. Run wild and free, but maintain some composure. Hey, Grande, if you ever see that movie Matinee, the fake movie Mant is a spoof of those giant 50s monster movies, which also stars John Goodman. I love Matinee. That's a banger. Good brother Thomas here. Hi, John and Chad. Love Arachnophobia. I thought Goodman's role was like a continuation of George Wendt. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that comparison. Fucking George. Imagine George. R.I.P. George Wendt too. But Goodman, like, he could play anything, right? The 10 Cloverfield Lane, he's creepy in that movie. He's untrusty. Here, he's just fun and just himself. And then last week, he was in Death Sentence. We talked about Death Sentence last week, how he's the guy, go with God. That makes you a preferred fucking customer. It would be fun to do John Goodman actor spotlight. Maybe one of these days we'll have to do it because that's one I've never, ever done. And it would be a lot of fun to do. So we are still going to, the Leo one will be next. I still will do the Leo one. I know I pissed a lot of people off by switching it. Awesome show tonight. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun too, as always. Yeah, Grande, was a blast talking all these creatures. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you all coming to check out the show. This was a lot of fun for me too, going through the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Talking about meeting the legendary E.O. Sky at the beginning. Just really cool. I definitely appreciate you guys and all your support here tonight. Next week, we have a small schedule change before we go. I know I initially said folk horror, and that's still going to happen, but it's going to happen the following week. Folk horror is going to be on the 21st. Next week, I had to move Black Mirror Season 3 to next week, the 14th, because my guest couldn't do the 21st. So next week, me and Nick Reap will be back. We did, of course, Tales from the Crypt Season 5 together. We'll be doing Black Mirror Season 3 together, so I'm looking forward to that. Going to be a lot of fun. I believe that does contain his personal favorite episode of the whole series. So we're going to have our Black Mirror on this week, or coming week. And then, of course, the following week, we're going to do the folk horror. So that's the only thing. It's a small schedule change. I thought I was going to have to change everything because of it, but he was like, dude, let's just do it on the 14th. So just wanted to update you guys. Next week is going to be Black Mirror Season 3. The following week, folk horror. I'm sorry I had to change it, but I'm very excited to do those episodes as well. And everybody, if you're catching the replay, comment down below. Let me know, of course, which one of these monster movies is your favorite, how you'd rank them, some of your favorites from these decades. Feel free to give me some recommendations. I'm always down to hear some recommendations. Only I am a bad angel rejected by the Lord. Okay. Hell yeah. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you, John. Hope all is well. Goodman was great in Barton Fink, which was the following year. Barton Fink was 91, I think. Awesome show, John. Only. Happy to have you back in the live chat, my friend. Haven't seen Season 3 of Black Mirror. Have to watch your stream later. Well, absolutely, man. I do appreciate that. Everybody, have a safe, happy, healthy weekend, and we will catch you next time. Only on the Graveyard. Too sweet, peace. Have a good one, everybody. Good night. Cheers.